Hello, and welcome to part 17 of my Conan Exiles guide and playthrough. Today is all about learning how to remove the Slave Bracelet that keeps us trapped in the Exiled Lands. We will continue the questline that we started in part 10 of this guide when we acquired the Staff of the Triumvirate by defeating the Abyssal Remnant in the Dregs dungeon. Over several episodes, this quest will lead us through more dungeons and many foes to acquire the 7 artifacts that will allow us to remove the Slave Bracelet and escape the Exiled Lands if we so desire. We're going to bring our relic hunters with us. For this first leg of the quest line, you would probably be fine with a named tier 4 noob river thrall with some decent armor, some heavy armor, probably the well-trained stat, and you should probably have a legendary weapon by then, because you will have done the Dregs dungeon and you should get legendary weapons in there. But the quest does get more difficult as you move along collecting the different artifacts, so we will need the relic hunters eventually. But for today's part of the quest line, like I said, you could probably use a noob river thrall. So some stuff we're going to need, of course, you will need the Staff of the Triumvirate. Grab that. I actually have 2 of them. You're going to need a little demon blood to get past a door.
1,701.
And like I said, if you want to figure out how to get the staff to begin with, watch part 10 of the guide. But if we pull up the info on the staff, this staff found in the acid pit alongside the Abyssal Remnant is marked with an ancient language. The first runs along the length of the staff in glowing runes, whereas the second is carved rudely over the top of the first script, obscuring pieces of it. While unintelligible at first glance beneath the glow of the bracelet, the runes shape themselves into a recognizable script that reads, "A gift from the give us advice and allow us to control the must be brought, the Tower of the Bat, where it placed at the altar, awakened to share with us, only awakened by and their blood." Reading the script is one thing, understanding what it means is something else entirely. So Tower of the Bat, that is where we need to head to first. So that is over here at F5 where we did our big iron run early in this series. It's right up here. So I'm going to grab my camel and I'll meet you over there. Okay. Here we are looking at the Tower of the Bat, and we need to get up there. So you can actually go around this way, and there's a Tefari camp that leads up there, and then you can actually use your ice bridge spell, but I'm just going to do it the traditional way and climb up. So deal with these guys. So not too bad of a climb. Should be able to get it. Getting close. There we go. So this is the Tower of the Bats. There's some lore tablets over here.
In the beginning, it was thus.
So like I said, you can come over here and do ice bridge if you want, but I just climb up.
We have not forgotten our origins. slave, nor the immensity of the void. Nightly, the star dreamers search the heavens.
Here we have an
for their
albino
wisdom.
bat we're gonna fight.
At midnight, the moonbeam messenger carries
Not too hard to deal with.
Like the cobra. Is death.
future read from the heavens and engraved with wisdom. Your service here will bring you much honor.
Then harvest the corpse. And we got some albino bat demon blood. So we're gonna take that up here. See this little hole here, altar of the bat. Put your staff of the Triumvirate in there and your albino demon blood, and that will automatically craft the awakened staff of the Triumvirate, which is a placeable. So let's get away from this no build area and we'll place that down. I think we can do it here. Yep. Now you might want to turn your volume up. The voice acting is really excellent with the staff.
Yes, yes! I live again! Oh, may the earth tremble at my coming, and all of that. Oh, hello! Ah, well, I have you to thank for awakening me, yes? Oh, you've done a very great thing. My former masters were upset with my advice. I was thrown into that sewer in a fit of pique. Apparently, my endless wisdom was only at a premium when they were winning the war.
Okay, and then I think talk to him again.
Oh, pardon me. I've been trapped in a vat of slug feces for a few thousand years. Makes the throat a little raw. As if I have a throat. Now, on to the terms of our agreement. Now, I promise to serve you, providing wisdom and knowledge until the day I'm returned to the one who summoned me. And in return, you promise not to throw me into any sewers. Sound good? Excellent. Now, let's find out exactly where and when we are. I can see you're wearing a slave bracelet, which means we can't be that far from the capital, or you'd be a pile of exploded guts. So logically, we must find the map room. Now, I need to get the lay of the land.
Okay. So he mentioned the map room. So pick him up. So the map room is at the archives in the Unnamed city. So right over here at D6E6, there's a little plaza. And when you come down here, it's lower than the surrounding areas, so there's some stairs you can take, or you can climb down, or come from the south. So I will climb down and then meet you over there. Okay, I'm bringing you back. So we're over here in the Unnamed city, right by this obelisk at D6E6. And right up here is the archives, and make sure you have the staff with you. And then it can be a little tricky to get it to trigger, so I'm going to run through here a little bit. So we got the archives note. Library of Esoteric Knowledge. And you get a little corruption in here. And here's a map room of the Exiled Lands.
Since the fall of Fallujah. And look, the Archivist. Oh, sorry-looking shade that he is. He can probably tell us something about the current situation. Besides, he used to be thick as thieves with my old master. Together, they created that bracelet you're wearing. He might be able to tell you how to get rid of it. Just don't believe anything he says about me.
Okay, so over here is the Archivist. interact with him. What's going on? Weird. There we go.
Do not be afraid, bonded one. I am just a shadow, a whisper of what once was. Before the fall, when this kingdom raised knighted pillars of black stone to the sky, I was called the Archivist.
So keep talking to him?
Have you come to seek a way free of the bonding bracelet, human? There is only one chance, and a very slim one at that. You must assemble the items of power that were present at its creation. The Diadem of the Giant Kings, the Mask of the Witch Queen, the Tears of Two Races, the Star of the Champion, the Heart of the Sands, the Shining Trapezohedron, and the Serpent Ring of Set. I fear I set you an impossible quest, human. The Diadem
talking
of
to
the
him?
Giant Kings was once worn upon the brow of the Priest King. He fell in battle with Tyros, the Deathbringer, in the battlefields of the north. More than that, I cannot say. The Priest King was the most passionate and most volatile among us. I fear his downfall will not have been a simple matter. The Witch Queen of Lemuria was our great enemy in the dying days of our race. Her people came to us as refugees, but even as they took our succor, they plotted our downfall. She was present at the creation of the bracelet, lending her power to ours. Her fate is unknown to me, but she always ruled from her city in the swamp to the east. The Tears of Two Races were simple to obtain when we performed the ritual. We simply took our tears and combined them. But who is left to weep for both races? Although tales persist of Tyros the Deathbringer, he was born of both races. Our blood mingled with theirs. Perhaps his tears could be enough to fulfill the requirement. Obtaining them would be quite the feat. The Star of the Champion lies buried beneath the sands of the arena in the east. I remember well the day that Tyros killed the mighty dragon. He wept to defeat such a noble creature. He placed the star upon its brow. As far as I know, there it remains. The Heart of the Sands, or simply the Scourge Stone, was an artifact of power. The Priest King used it to create a weapon, the Sandstorm, that he swore would be our salvation. He gave it to the Warmaker to unleash upon our enemies. As far as I know, it was destroyed in the attempt. But perhaps the Warmaker has more insight. The Serpent Ring of Set. It was our most powerful artifact. It was kept in a tomb beneath this city, and then one day, a human came. He had all the words and signs of power. He passed through every ward and trap we had put in place. He took the Serpent Ring of Set, and he left. If you wonder why you wear the bracelet, wonder no more. It must have been this man who called himself Tochamon. Dedicate yourself to recovering the other artifacts. You will not recover the Serpent Ring of Set as long as you are trapped in this empire. Perhaps it will be enough. When you have the artifacts, you must place them on the receptacle north of here. Once you have filled this vessel with the artifacts of power, it will create a keystone. To remove your bracelet, all that is required is to touch it with the keystone. And then, mortal, you will be free. But freedom will mean giving up all that these lands have come to offer you. So choose wisely. How did I die? I was betrayed by your kind. In a place called the Circle of Swords. I went in good faith to meet the Witch Queen. She had promised peace. I was cut down. My bones were left to rot in the wind. And yet, my spirit has always belonged to the Archives, human. And so, I am here. And here I shall remain. Have you come to seek a way free of the bonding bracelet, human? There is only one chance, and a very slim one at that.
Alright, he's repeating
You must
himself.
assemble the items.
So he has set us on an epic quest to get many artifacts. So that we can craft the Keystone, which will allow us to remove the Slave Bracelet. And the first of the artifacts is the Diadem of the Giant King. So we will work on that. We're gonna first. I'm gonna exit the city so we can put the staff down and see what he has to say. So I'm gonna come up this way and head over here. So I'll see you there in a second. Okay, here we are outside the Unnamed City. We're gonna put the staff back down. Talk to it.
Ooh, the Diadem of the Giant Kings. An artifact of singularly unimpressive power. My former master, known as the Priest King, used to wear it as a symbol of his authority. His head looked like a carrot with a silver belt wrapped around it. But it certainly provided him with all the qualities you'd expect of an elderly authority figure. Stuffiness, a great love of his own voice, and the inability to control his bowels. The last time I saw his face, I was tumbling down into the dregs. It was right before he went north to do battle with his half-breed son, Tyrus. I checked the northern battlefield. Someone has probably smelled him.
I think that's all he has to say.
Ooh, the Diadem of the Giant Kings.
What is that? And we didn't read this earlier. This staff awakened during a ritual on top of the Tower of the Bat seems to be possessed by the spirit of a demon. When called upon, the demon can offer advice to the wielder, but whether it can be trusted is a completely different story. Alright, so the Diadem of the Giant King is in the northern battlefield, and that's pretty vague, but what it is referring to is an area west of the Mounds of the Dead. Over here at A11, B11 is the path up to this cave up here, and it's known as the Barrow King, so I will meet you up there. Okay, so we're up here at A11, B11, and there's these white skeletons to fight. So deal with those guys and just head up this hill. So I'm going to clear all these out and then I'll meet you up there. Alright, so I'm done clearing out these whites, and harvest these guys with a sickle. And you'll get Witchfire powder, which we're going to need some of that for sorcery. You'll also get some glowing goop. Witchfire powder is also used in a few crafting items. So come up here. We have this cave with a door called the Barrow King. And there's a note right here. I write this, good Drathan, to put to rest your incredulity. I have studied the ruins and stones around the region. I am certain that a great battle took place here. I have reason to believe I have found the burial chamber of one of the commanders of the battle. Alas, it is locked tight by some mechanism, and I simply have no idea how to open it. I have translated the runes around the door to this. Blood to seal and blood to hold. Blood to warm the dead and cold. Blood to sign the final pact. Blood to seep between the cracks. Before you ask, yes, I've tried my blood and it simply does not open. Perhaps what is buried inside is too different from what we are for this to work. So you need blood, and what it's talking about is demon blood. But if you do come here and you forget demon blood, if you click on the door, it'll say you need demon blood. So. So here is the first boss we fight to get a artifact, the King Beneath. who's not even using his sword for some reason. That's funny.
Like the Cobra exile, my
But again, he's pretty easy to deal with.
Like the Cobra exile, my Wight is dead!
So, hardened steel greatsword, some potent compost, take that, gold bars, and the Diadem of the Giant King. And then I think, do we get anything if we harvest this guy? Get my pick out. If I can find it. I can get a bunch of demon blood. Alright, I'm not carrying all that. And we got 2 diadems for some reason. So if we read this, Callium Publico believed that it contained the diadem of the giant kings, of the people who dwelt in the dark land before the ancestors of the Stygians came there. He showed me a design carved on the lid which he swore was the shape of the diadem which legend tells us the monster kings wore, rogues in the house. Too large to be worn by a human, the diadem hums with contained power, taken from the priest king of the giant kings, known today as the Barrow King. The story of the diadem is one of betrayal and hatred. It seems that the priest king was the father of Tyros the Deathbringer. Tyros turned against his father at some point during the war between the Lemurians and the giant kings, and his father cursed him and all his loyal warriors. Such is the strength of the diadem that Tyros and his men were cursed to live forever, a silent legion brooding in the ruins of the north. This is one of the artifacts required to create the Keystone that can be used to remove the Slave Bracelet. So we get a clue that Tyros and his men live forever, and they're in a ruins in the north, so that'll be important later. And I think there's some recipe back here somewhere. Here it is. So some weapons, I think. Alright, so I'm gonna work my way back through these wights and I'll meet you down here to put the staff back down. Okay, we are down the hill from the Barrow King's lair. And we'll put the staff back down. See what he has to say.
Oh, I liked her. The Witch Queen of Lemuria was powerful and beautiful, and not opposed to the occasional orgy. Well, I remember some of the rituals she performed. Riding naked upon the altar of Dagon, while her followers gave themselves over to the rites of ecstasy. Oh God, those blood-soaked moments. I remember her grip on my haft. Oh, stiff and unyielding to a sorceress ministry. Oh, forgive me. Now, if you need her mask, I can only imagine it will not be far from her palace. Her people built a city in the eastern swamplands. We should visit it.
I think that's all he has to say. Yep.
Oh, I liked her.
Okay, so we need to go to the eastern swamplands, which is more commonly called the jungle. And what it is talking about is the palace of the Witch Queen over here in the lost city of Zelha. So we're going to head over here to this entrance at N5, N6. This is over by the Black Lotus, the Black Garden where we got the Black Lotus in an earlier episode. And if you're coming from the west, the entrance to this area, because there's mountains and stuff, is down here at M5, M6. But I'll meet you over here at the entrance to the city. Okay, we are here at the entrance to the city of Zelha at N5, N6. We're going to head in here. And basically we're working our way back to here. So there's a lot of gray apes to fight here. Oh, I forgot I parked these guys here. Alright, so like I said, there's a lot of gray apes, so I'm going to work my way through here, back to here, and I'll bring you back. Okay, here we are looking at the Palace of the Witch Queen. So come in here. I'm just going to tell Abu to stop following. Head up in here. This is a pretty cool little mini dungeon. There's just one boss. The Witch Queen. Well, you gotta fight her giant statues.
The bracelet you wear marks you my enemy.
So she's behind a protective shield. So fight these guys. Pretty easy to deal with. There he goes. He'll just stop moving after he's defeated. And then there's these green lasers, so you want to watch out not to get hit by those. But pretty easy to avoid. Couple more times.
Dagon will protect me.
Fight the other guy. Avoid the lasers. There we go. So the shield should come down.
I was supposed to be your savior.
Is she coming? There she is. She hits pretty hard, but doesn't have a lot of health.
Exile, fight is death. Such will glory in your death.
Let me rest. It is time.
Alright. So we got 2 Masks of the Witch Queen. I'm not sure why I'm getting 2 of everything. And key to Razma's quarters. What could that be? So, and then come up here to her throne and click on it. And you'll get a bunch of recipes for Lemurian armor and weapons. Alright, so Razma's quarters, that is actually the chick in the beginning of the game, the opening movie, who Conan frees, and she fights with him in the storm against the beasts. And that's where you get the relic hunter armor I showed you the other day. So it's over here in southwest Sephiroth. So I'm gonna meet you outside there a little bit, and we'll put the staff down, and then we'll check out Razma's quarters. Alright, we're here outside Sephiroth, south of it a bit, and let's put the staff down.
That a priest king? had an inordinate fondness for blood sport. I mean, you'd think a creature that spent his days elbow deep in tentacles, eyeballs, and severed limbs would tire of violence. In any case, he used to put his bastard half-son in battles in the arena. It was all a bit of a joke, you know. Tyrrus was a lot bigger than all the other humans, and so naturally, he excelled. But he was awarded the Star of the Champion by the Triumvirate. And the Warmaker, well, truth be told, he was a little put out about the success of the Priest King's son. So he put his pet dragon up against the boy. And just when you thought the bastard's luck had finally run out, he ripped off his own horn and jammed it into his brain by way of an eye socket. "Oh, salute thee, noble beast," he said, and he pinned the Star of the Champion to the creature before giving up his gladiator career forever. Sickeningly noble bastard, but he knew how to please a crowd, so I'll give him that.
Alright, so that is a clue alongside what the Archivist told us, that we need to get the Star of the Champion next, which we get that by fighting the undead dragon in the sinkhole via the arena, which is where we went to get the dragon armor recipes in the epic armor episode. But we'll do that in the next part of this quest line when we continue it in a few episodes. But let's go up into here to Razma's quarters. Let me just hop on the camel. Just walk along here and look for a house with a door that's slightly open. And then with the key you can open it more and go inside. But actually, before we talk to Razma, let's read the Mask of the Witch Queen info. Many Lemurians escaped to the eastern coast of the Thurian continent, which was comparatively untouched. There they were enslaved by the ancient race which already dwelt there, and their history for thousands of years is a history of brutal servitude. This mask was used by the Witch Queen of Lemuria to communicate with their primary deity Dagon before their kingdom sank into the ocean during the Cataclysm. When the Lemurians crossed into the land of the Giant Kings, they negotiated for somewhere to settle. The Witch Queen, wary of the forced exile of her people, helped the Giant Kings to forge the bracelets, originally to facilitate communication between the two races. Later, this mask possessed the exile Razma, controlling her thoughts and forcing her to start rebuilding the palace at the heart of Zelha. This is one of the artifacts required to create the Keystone that can be used to remove the Slave Bracelet. And here is Razma. So talk to her.
Thank you. The woman that you met in those ruins, that was not me. She was ancient and wicked and powerful. You almost killed me in that city. I cannot begrudge you that. Such a terrible, awesome creation. While I wore the mask, I was somebody else. I was something else. Such power and knowledge. I stood on an island in a vast ocean. I could see across the water in every direction. And that ocean was time. I am sorry. It is difficult to describe. All I have are fragments. Her memories evaporate from my mind like mists above the oasis. If you have questions, you must ask them quickly. My mind is leaking, purging itself of all traces of that woman. She knew so much. About these bracelets we wear, about the Giant Kings and the ancient war, about the darkness that lurks in the volcano, and... Just ask, friend, before I lose the nerve to speak. The bracelets, She made them together with the Giant Kings. The bracelets were imbued with the power of 7 artifacts. The Witch Queen's mask, the Diadem of the Giant Kings, the tears of 2 races, the shining trapezohedron, the star of the champion, the heart of the sands, and the black ring of Set. The bracelets were created to translate any language for the wearer, to allow swift movement around the Empire, and to allow communication and recording through the lore stones. It was only later, when the war began, that the Queen suspected that the Giant Kings had included a death weave in the sorcery. Any who tried to flee their control were simply killed by the curse wall. Her people, the Lemurians, were the remnant of a desperate race. Her memories before the Exiled Lands are vague and confused. Flashes of an island kingdom sinking as the world heaves. A people being subjugated with fire and sorcery. An escape, and a long, treacherous journey into the West. I'm sorry, it's fading so quickly. I remember a daughter, Tellith, and a great betrayal, and a grandchild. She was a mother and a grandmother. She knew what it was to be a slave, and didn't want that for any of her people. She would stop at nothing to prevent it from happening again. Can you blame her? Her mind shies away from 2 things: her grandchild and what her people found in the volcano. Her grandchild was not truly human. Zoltar? He was a hostage, or something else. I'm sorry. For her, these memories were laden with emotion. I see a beloved daughter, and a hated foe, and a child that brings hope. It is so very unclear. As for what her people discovered at the volcano, horror, anger, and disgust, and fear. This is the only memory where the Witch Queen of Lemuria felt fear. I truly don't know what I will do now that I have my freedom. Conan has offered to accompany me north, back to my home city in Shem. My palace awaits me, and the pampered life of a princess of Shem. But my enemies, the ones who sent me here, they also await me there. Perhaps instead, I will travel with Conan a while, see the world by his side. He is formidable, yes, for a barbarian. You almost killed me in that city. I cannot begrudge you that. Such a terrible, awesome creation.
Alright, so she's just going to repeat herself now. And that's it. So we got a lot of story. We got 2 of the artifacts, the Diadem of the Giant King and the Mask of the Witch Queen. Like I said, next time we work on this quest line in a few episodes, we'll go and fight the undead dragon to get the Star of the Champion. But next time we will return to the archives to learn the map room, and I'll show you all the in and outs of the map room, where to attune to the various obelisks, and how to fast travel. So thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please do me a favor and hit the like button, and have a good day.